오면 주제 연제 보라나 두숨선 제근제 오니 런섬 주그릉 섬된제 자웰라메 혈라 그전자 드네 다다리 제넘바 몽보게 토림보니 페 드네 까와 몽보지니 페 드네 나와타 드네 카시 토니볼라 유나야 다 지당가 온데세나 야지 뎀벨룸발라 페 솔레 몽보타 드네 칼레 몽보 요아렐라 드네 텐조 레가다 틸라 텐조 치도세 드네 데젠돌라 지당가 weekend na kahi weekend la pe chipotan goyang bo se tene sasha mandawa lando semo mandawa che ta tende goyang bo na ju yare de tenzo chi de se ne ta tanda pepa de che namba ganga cherdo tombe chu la de pa to mu gu ya bo ya pa re la tene de la tene pepa yin be cherna che namba tu ji che
Many of you have come from far away, and you've undergone a lot of difficulties to be able to come here. Likewise, quite a few of you live nearby, and even if you live by in a developed country, you have a lot of work, and there are a lot of difficulties in life, but you have disregarded your work and you've disregarded the busyness of your lives and come. And also on the weekends in developed countries, when you have a weekend, then what you really want to do is go off and relax someplace, go someplace nice, someplace else, and have some different sort of sport that you do, and to take it easy for a weekend. But you've disregarded that as well, and you've come here, and this is because of your great faith and devotion in the Dharma that you have come. So I'd like to thank you all very much for coming, and wish you all Tashi Delek.
tene ta thare chitang rang ta chu gen de ba hyu kapsula cherdo tene loche tene mege ombo to na ombo ta hiji ombo ten su salvo me ba che tene de la tene che tene chu ten so kahi ji ro nda bo ta kahi nor ro nda bo 다 텐데 용기 요아라 텐데 정나 공도 휴지제다 대점도 마제 드네 다 단다 아 주보야 대점 대범에 발라드네 다 지당게 춘테 망보 나지 마도와 드네 디나네 다리에 춘테 퉁퉁 더보 주구토나 드네 다데 갑슬라 제남바 칼레자 페온데 드네 공바 망게로치 에 효게.
Now also at this time when we're making a connection through the Dharma, I'm getting old and my eye faculty, my ear faculty, and my mind faculty are not as clear as they used to be. So when I teach the Dharma now, I sometimes forget some things or I get some things wrong. And so if that happens, I'd like to beg your pardon for that happening. Not only that, I'm not as healthy as I could be, and so for that reason I'm not able to give long teachings, or the teachings that I do give are very short. And so you've gone through a lot of effort and difficulty to come here, and I'd like to beg your pardon for that as well.
Tene hinaya tatanda Khenpo Gangshar Wangpo ngorde tatanda neka hyojurela de hyu kapso tene cherdo Khenpo Gangshar Wangpo de be yendo mandawa ga gongsa cheparche tene tate nyam topa senjen nangla tuk tsewa chenpo yeba nyam topa cheparatum papa yeba yendo mandawa kepe yenten tube nyam to cheparatum papa ta tende je chambare la tene ti cherna ti ge sang sena jin tenzu hyudu ta che namba la pentun rabo yungre sambe rewa yeba jaitan tene te zamdo yung maze tene tanda Khenpo Gangshar Wangpo 다 치서 페페게 주토 제버진지 케두 제버진지 레라 드니테 인도 데라 나랑게 응어서 샬은잘 송투 진압토 딘디게 고갑상보다 덴바 임베처나 드니체 넘발라 휴나 당 나랑게 누바마임바 라멘신라동 담베추게 신라 제버진 토그레 somberewa yola 드니테 여발라 텐네 체 넘바게 다 틴체탕게 치올라 대바동 무구 드니테 나네 믹살도 동화 텐솔라 드니베 kukuruton mugu chi ne sen naru chi hyogen.
And so now we have the opportunity to have the teachings on the songs of Khenpo Gangshar Rinpoche. And in teaching the songs, Khenpo Gangshar Rinpoche is someone who is unlike any other. He was a really extraordinary individual. He had extraordinary experience and realization. He had great compassion and affection for sentient beings and great experience and realization. He was a great scholar, a great meditation practitioner, and so his words have blessings, and I think that they will be of benefit for you, and this is my hope that they will benefit you. Also, Khenpo Gangshar Rinpoche is a teacher from modern times, a great master and scholar from modern times, who I had the opportunity to meet in person. I heard him teach. I received his blessings, and so I feel that this was a very good opportunity. So now when I am teaching this to you, I feel that it is not my own power, but rather the power of the Lama and the power of the Dharma that I think you will receive, and I hope that you receive. So you all please have faith and devotion, and especially have great respect and devotion for these instructions as you listen.
Tene tateyon konge tanda kashuge sungren zezang tena songyo rela sachi sabo sonne tate sachilo ta beg zilugo on the sena sachilo te jidong guja ngacho ngaji gelo ta tene sabo gelo te jidong guja ngacho ngagu gelo Tati loni potela pe la kangal mambo chunga rela teni tati kangal chunga kapsala teni konge dangwa song la teni pentu chempo mambo chungyo re teni te kashi ke san la pemba kashi ke lu la pemba kashi ke kangal la pemba tati ne ja chempo chungyo rela teni tige cherna dangwa te yendo mandawa teni te pentu yeba tikapsula pentu chungwa cheta tikapsula pentu yeba zangda yung mazi teni tandang aranso che kangal chungwa kaula yinna yanda chipo chungwa kaula yinna yanda dupo chungwa kaula yinna yanda te kantara yang teni te dangwa tenzo nyamlin na teni tsendala yang deji pungsang soban chungwa yeba cheta tene dungal ke kangal tenzo tang sen cho hiela soba serju yeba cheta te zamda yung mazi tene tate dene sonji je kompo matab ke parto la pe pento chenpo chungju yeba cherna dangwa tenzo pe sapo chepartan papa yuare la tene te senbe kapsula Deba tang mugu, shamba tang nije, tini kunhon number taba naru chi hyogayen.
If we look at the colophon at the end of the text, it says that these songs were written in the years of the pig, the year of the earth dog and the earth pig. And so in the Tibetan calendar, the year of the earth dog was 1958, and the year of the earth pig was 1959. So these were 2 years when there were extreme difficulties in Tibet. And at that very time, he gave these instructions, and they brought a lot of benefit to many people. For some people, it helped them in their minds. Some people, it helped them in their bodies. For others, it helped them in various ways. It had great benefit at that time. So these are instructions that had a benefit that is unlike any other. At that very time, they're very helpful. And it's not just at that particular time, but also now when we have times of difficulties, when we have times that we're happy, when we have times of trouble, whatever time it is, if we practice these instructions, then they are something then they will help us achieve happiness in this life. They will help us be able to dispel all of our difficulties and our despairs as well. They are instructions that will bring us benefit from now until we achieve the state of Buddhahood. And so these are extraordinary instructions and profound instructions. And so when you listen to them, please listen with great faith and devotion. Please listen with the pure motivation of loving kindness and compassion.
Tene tatanda chu hepikabla hepapoinayandra. Tene chu nyembapoinayandra. Tene chitanga tambe chu kashaware. Re te yinaya tatela kunhonte chepar chembo yorela. Tene te ya je gombo baga tapu chu yesenkinji song yorela. Tinani sona chu sunroa. Chu lam donroa. Lam truba selwa. Truba yehisan charwa. Tati ye song yorela. Dinane tambo chu sunroa sinkinte kande jiresena. Chu de chitanga lujigo ne chu drupatan. Tini tegendo ngagago ne chu drupatan. Tini tegendo yejigo ne chu drupatan. Tini tegendo tanda longche jigo ne chu drupala soba chu drusul namba na soba yore. Tatigo ne chu drupikapso. Tini chu de yapoche. Chu nguni chu yang taba jindro guga yore. Te chu yang taba mendo wezawa te kana tuga yore sena. Te zi kunhong number mada banda waje chang na. Tini te chu su mendo wa yunga yore la. Kunhong number mada ba sena. Tini te tangbi chu ga kunhong. Tini chu la te pa tang mugu. Tini cham nyi je shong chu ka sen je kunhong te. Te tang chal na. Te tang madin banda waje chang na. Tini chu te chu sun roga yo mare la. Teacher na kunhong number tapa. Tini te nye mombo ondo hiro mayin pa. Tini shamba tang nyi je tang shong chu ka sen. Tini yenping ka losam. Te nang ne shong chu ka sen che par tang papa tang che te. Sen na. Tini tangbo lu nga ka go ne chu druga yo are la. Chu te chu yang takpa che lan druga yo are. Teacher na tang ngaranso. Ganga chu chepa po yin na yanda, chu nyemba po yin na yanda, zaza chini chu gola hyo, chu drup, chu nyi, chu hi, ta tinte chepe ka solo kono nambar taba ton tempa te kal chegi yo are.
When teaching the Dharma, the person who is teaching the Dharma, as well as the listeners of the Dharma, are engaged in a Dharma activity, but there are different sorts of motivations that we can have. There are the 4 dharmas that were taught by the Lord Gampopa. These 4 dharmas are: may the Dharma become the Dharma, may the Dharma become the path, may the path clarify confusion, and may the confusion dispel wisdom. And so the first of these is: may the Dharma become the Dharma. And so when we practice the Dharma, we can practice it with our bodies. We can practice it with our speech, we practice it with our minds, we can use our possessions to practice the Dharma. There are various different ways that we can practice the Dharma. And when we are practicing the Dharma, what is important is that we must practice the proper Dharma, the true Dharma. And so, what is it that makes the Dharma we practice not become the true Dharma? Well, it is when we do not have a pure motivation, or our motivation is impure. At that point, then the Dharma we're practicing does not really become the true Dharma. This is when we are practicing the Dharma without the meditation of love and compassion, without the motivation of bodhicitta. And if we do not have those motivations, then the Dharma we practice will not be the true Dharma. And so it is important for us, first of all, to have the pure motivation, a motivation that is not overcome by the afflictions or under the control of the afflictions. We should have the motivation of loving kindness, compassion, or bodhicitta, an altruistic wish to help others. And so we need to have this motivation of bodhicitta. If we have this, then when we practice the Dharma with our bodies and speech, then that Dharma will become the true Dharma. And so now at this point of a Dharma teaching, whether we're the person who's teaching the Dharma or whether we are the person who is listening to the Dharma, it is important that we have this pure motivation as we listen, this pure motivation of bodhicitta.
Tene tateya chitanga takulong tian number tapa yeba yerje bando rete inaya tangara so susuchi o senkintel kapkala namto mandawa chesigirela tisena namto mandawa machiba tene namto gnone ya tene che kapkala tene tambe chu dupata chu nyamselem be kapsula che 세리와도 네메바도 롱제체와 라수베게 쳬르도 이 삼반다보제시나 지당게 데라 만디바 요 마레데 이나야 디클롱데 데지 자충게 쳬 요아레 테니텔라 테니텔 레멘동 지접세게라 테니텔 레멘동 지접게 클롱데도 마덴바체다 테니테겐도 나라 코로와동 겐송레 타르베게 타인 삼나야 나라 지부 섬나 대야 지당게 그런 넘버 타바지 레테 이나야 자충어 데니 티파 멤베게 그런 타티 자충 타반다고 나라 장바게 된도 삼바인 베전 삼바 넘버 타바지 마인바 안다고 용거요 아래라 데니 티처나 데이터바요 마인바 데니 랑진 센진 탐지라 펜베게 쳬도인 삼바 tate kong number taba songchu chu de senche bate senche yongso zoba dewa thomde ge loye ba dong dungha thande ge loye ba la tene tena dewa la kepe ge cherta tene dungha dong thalwe ge cherto tene ngarang ge lerang sawa chang ge chu nyam seleng ge tene rimbe ge ngarang top dong ne ba dong tembe ka sala senche je tan du ge sabanda wo chik kung yena kung te songchu ke sang dan ba yin be cherna neka la senji jachim bo che ke ta du thu ge rebe sena du thu ge yo mare te yena ya jesin khowan tha ma tong ge ba tikung te number ta ba te don den ba te kompel dun ro wala te ne te ne kung te jachim bo yung ge yo ara la teacher na songchu chu do senji ne sen na ro che.
Of course, it's a given that you all have a pure motivation for coming here. But as ordinary individuals, various thoughts happen. And so it's important that you don't just let any old thought occur. And among the various thoughts that we might have, sometimes when we're practicing the Dharma or when we're meditating, we think that we're doing this in order to have a long life, or we're doing it in order to be healthy. We're doing it in order to be prosperous in this life. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a rather limited motivation. When we talk about the motivations that we can have, there's the wishes for happiness, or the wish for protection from danger, and these are rather limited motivations, and so we should not have such a motivation. If we also might have the motivation that we want to free ourselves from all of the sufferings of samsara in the lower realms. And if this motivation is one that is limited for ourselves alone, then it is a pure motivation, but it is also a limited motivation. And so please also try not to have such a motivation either. Instead, please try to have the motivation that we want to bring great benefit to all sentient beings, ourselves and others. Please try to have the motivation of bodhicitta, the pure motivation of bodhicitta. All sentient beings are the same in having the wish to be happy and the wish to be free of suffering. And so if we think to yourselves that we will do something in order to bring them happiness, and we will do something to free themselves free them from suffering, and think to yourselves that at the time in the future when you have the great powers and capabilities, you will definitely benefit beings, then this is the motivation of bodhicitta. Now, for the short term, are we able to bring such a great benefit to sentient beings? We are not. But if we think that until such time as samsara has been emptied, we will strive for this, then that motivation will grow stronger and stronger and larger and vaster. And then at some point we will be able to do so. And so this is the motivation of bodhicitta. And I ask you to please listen with this motivation.
Tene ta te tabu ke go ne se ne ta tanda chitang ke tene Khenpo Gangshar ke song la song mambo yore dongwan sha dongwa teka la song ga pa yore tan tisi rongdur se tene dongwa mambo song yore la te zong de yong ma je tene kong de sung zong na ga pa ten chu ya mambo song sam na yore de yin na yang tanda hyujun de la nyamlin la kurdi jing gurma yoso sumde nyamlin la kulne ta kare de se na tombo gurma re gurma se do kare de se na te chi ko dewa chei nyu nyu ga namba la sang ga pa yin pe chen nang gurma hyo ge yo re la gurma te tan do kang che de la sung ge yo re se na ni chu la kulne ta ngarang so tene zo tambe chu hi pe ke tanda da bo te kare go ge yo re se na chu la kulma go ge yo re la chu la kulma se de tambe chu la kul ge te pe ge ngurma yin so re la tambe chu la kul ge te pa te khande te go ge yo re se na nyamle la te pa se tene chu de kha ni hi pa za ma yin pa te pa to mu gu je pa za ma yin pa nyam so le gu pa yin pe chen na nyamle la kul ge te pe ngurma yuso somne ta tombo ngurma digen sin la tende je sorje pa insare.
And so now please listening with this motivation. There are many different teachings that were given by Khenpo Gangshar. There are some direct instructions that he gave, the naturally liberating whatever you meet. As well, he also wrote several treatises about the Dharma. And here we have songs about practice. These songs to inspire the practice. And so they're to inspire or motivate our practice. And so the first of these is their songs. And so songs means that they're easy to understand, they're not difficult, and so we are able to put them into practice, and so they're songs about practice. Now, what is the point or the reason for saying these songs? It is in order to inspire us to the Dharma. If we want to know about the Dharma, then we need to be inspired to do it. We need to be inspired and guided into the Dharma practice. And so once we're inspired, how is it that we can come to know the Dharma? It is through our practice. We need to practice. We cannot just know the Dharma through our mouths or through mouthing it or through faith and devotion. We need to actually put it into practice. And so that is the explanation of the names of these songs, the songs to inspire practice.
Nyamlin khandi shi gu ge yo re se na chitang ge chu duji serwe mengo ate du jun do rongji durje yen so de tene te chu nyam so len senkin te khandi chi gu ge yo re se na tambe chu te nyam so len ba te rang semjin dolo ge chir re so tene te yan sanje chom ten de jin do e tan du pu on de ne sun de tel Dikpa Cheyang Maza Yen gewa pusum tso parachi rang sem ne yonsun dol se tachi tang dikpa pang tupachi gugre gewa drup tupachi gugre tini dikpa te karire se na senchin la nepa la sopa ke dikpa te pang gugi yore lunga ye samche gone te yendo gewa kare drup gugi yore se na senchin la pempa tini lunga ye samche gone drup gugi yore te tupuke tsawa te kaana tuku yuwaare se na ranga sem ne yonsun dol se nga ranga sem te tanda chitanga tini te ilam yang tapa che la chuk tupa che gugu yuwaare kariri se na kapka la nye momba ndesho hedong temu nga jal thodu tongto ngenpa tinte mangbo yungu yuwaare la te shang na tini dikpa pang tuku yuwa maare gewa du tuku yuwa maare senchin la pen to tuku yuwa maare maare la te tupu ki chirto kandiri se na rang sem ten dul gugu yuwa re nye momba tenzu ki ondo mahirwa si gugu yuwa re la nye momba tenzu ondo mahirwa tang tini te la chitang sen jitendo kari yuwa re se na sen jitendo tini chitang ta yen ten tong tenpa che ta chen je cha talwa che gugu yuwa re la chen je cha talwa te kari ki gugu yuwa re se na chen desho xe tong temu nga jir thodu la sopa nong to ngenpa tenzo xiwa che gugu yuwa re tini yen ten je cha pelwa che gugu yuwa re la yen ten je cha kaan pel gugu yuwa re se na shamba nyi je chongchu ke sen tepa mugu la sopa pelwa che gugu yuwa re te tabu ke chepe ke che to rang sem te yung sun dol nga rang sem ke kare kunlong kanten do songlong kanten tangen do yapo chi sheke do yapo chi sheke mendo yung tapa che ta na te pa tsam to ma yo para teni te kunlong ngemban da bon do na teni te la tempa tang hi yin ge hakwa chi she ne te me pa che teni kunlong zangbo che mendo na te yung ne yung de chepe ke tabla zang gu ge yo re teacher na rang sem ne yung sun dol se rang sem te dabo yapo che ja rang sem de nyen mon ba don nang do ge ji su ma hyur wa che da rang se de song ni ji chong chu ge san de pa to mu gu la so ba ji to ba che yin ji mi ji kal che ge yo re ti ge go den dol gu ge yo re so.
So, when we are practicing, then what is it that we need to do? As it says in the song, the instructions of the practice lineage are a challenge to tame your being continually. And so, when we are practicing the Dharma and accomplishing the Dharma, for our Dharma practice, we need to tame our own mind. The reason that it is said that we need to tame our own mind is it is as the Buddha said, is like a summary of the meaning of all the sutras. Do not do any wrong at all. Act upon excellent virtue. Completely tame your own mind. And so we need to give up all wrongs and all misdeeds. We need to act upon excellent virtue, perform perfect virtues. And so misdeeds or wrongs are those things that harm other sentient beings, and we need to eliminate those and give them up. Virtues are those things that benefit ourselves and benefit other sentient beings, things that we do with our body, speech, and mind, and we need to accomplish these things. And so what is the root of all of this? It comes down to taming our own mind. So generally, when we with our mind, we need to bring our mind and put it on or get it onto the right path. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that we do not have any of the afflictions of desire, hatred, delusion, envy, or any of the different bad thoughts that occur in our mind. When there are many such bad thoughts and occurrences in our mind, then we are unable to give up misdeeds. We are unable to practice virtue, and we're unable to benefit sentient beings. And so we need to tame our own minds. We need to make sure that they're not overcome by the afflictions. And so in order to do that, what is it that we need to do? Well, we need to exercise the mindfulness, awareness, and carefulness within our minds. we need to look at our minds and see what is happening there. Are we having various thoughts of hatred or desire or delusion or envy? Are we having other bad thoughts? We need to look and see if we are having them, we need to try to stop them. If we need to look and see, are we having beneficial thoughts, thoughts of love, compassion, and bodhicitta? And we need to try to increase them. And so we need to tame our mind. And so in order to tame our mind, we need to have the motivation. So we need to continually to look and see whether we have a good motivation or not. But we shouldn't just leave it at looking. If our motivation is bad, then we should apply our mindfulness and awareness, understand that it is a bad motivation, recognize it, and do what we can to stop maintaining it. And if it is a good motivation, then we need to try to do what we can to increase it and support it. And so in this way, we need to completely tame our own minds. If we do not take ownership of our minds, then we will not be able to tame them. And so we need to try to take ownership of our minds so that we can increase our love, compassion, bodhicitta, faith, and devotion. And so it is for that purpose that we need to tame our minds.
Ta tela chitang thambi chu sinkin te nyamsel lendu tela ronji ndulu ga tap jire tap te yin be cherna non ronji ndani mandul na tsi yendan jwa kamo yin tene te ga yi thambi chu nyamsel lembe ka sala rang sam te yapo chin dulgu gi yore ten dul mathum na ten dul wala machana tene te rang sam te dulgu yo marela rang sam te dul se du condition dulgu gi yore se na chitang tanda rang sam la ta chen ji cha ye pa te pang yen tin ji cha ye pa te pel gu gi yore la tene te tela ronji te deni mandul na si yendan juwa kamo yin ten tewe ronji yung ta se ta ten dolu ga tab khandi si gu gu yore se na rang senji te karen do jen je cha desho he don temu la so be nyen mo ba yung gu ge yen ten je cha sham ni je song ju ji san te pa dong mo gu ya bon pel tu gu ge ya bo ta gu re yung ta yung ni yung do per na hyoke ya lang kap sa la yung ta gomo ma nyal kap sa la yung ta ning gung khala sa kap sa la yung ta tene mel yen da la ke cha la kap sa le na yin da kan tar ya rang yang ni yang do tene ngarang sem te nye mo bo on do hyondo ge andu ngarang sem te yen tin ji cham cham pel tu ge andu ya bo ji ta gu ge yore te ne te ta gu bi jun sin te kan de se na zo chu nyong se lemba te rang sen ji den dol gu ge yore rang sen ji den dol tu na chu nyong se lemba te ko ne kon den pel ge yore rang sen ji de ya bo ji dol ma to na tene te ge rang yen tin te ko ne kon den pel ge yo ma re la rang yen tin te man pel na chi yen den ju wa ka mo yen se tene ma sen ji yen je tan se ba te ka le ka bo re la rang da du ba te ka le ka bo re yen da du ba te pe ka le ka bo re teacher na rang sen den dol gu re rang sen den dol tu gu ndu de ronji la yu ta gu re.
So generally, when we are practicing the Dharma, we need to tame our own being. So for this reason, it says, if you do not tame your own being internally, later it will be hard to benefit others. Or you could also translate it perhaps better as, externally it will be hard to benefit others. And so when we are practicing the Dharma, we need to tame our mind. If we are not diligent about trying to tame our mind, then we will not be able to practice. But how is it that we should tame our minds? Well, we need to look at our minds, and we need to eliminate any of the faulty aspects of our minds. We need to increase the qualities of our minds. If we do not do this, if you do not tame your being internally, it will be hard to benefit others externally. Therefore, repeatedly examine yourself. And so we need to tame our own minds, and we need to examine ourselves over and over again to see, do we have any faulty aspects in our minds? and if not, and if so, how can we eliminate them? We need to examine ourselves. Are we able to develop the love, compassion, bodhicitta, faith, and devotion in our minds? And so we need to examine ourselves repeatedly. And so this means, like, when you get up in the morning, you should examine yourself. When you go to bed, you should examine yourself. You should see, do I have any afflictions in my mind? Am I able to develop the qualities? When you get up in the morning, when you go to bed, when you're eating lunch, when you're having conversations with other people, you need to look at your mind over and over again. Is my mind under the control of the afflictions? Am I able to increase these qualities? And looking like this over and over again. And so the reason for this is that the primary thing we need to do in order to practice is to tame our own minds and tame our beings. If we do not tame our beings, we will not be able to develop our Dharma practice. And if we will not be able to develop all of the qualities, it will be hard to benefit others on the outside, as it says. So therefore, repeatedly examine yourselves. If we do not examine ourselves in this way, it will be hard enough to help ourselves, and even more hard to help others, bring benefit to other sentient beings. And so we need to tame our own minds, and the way to do this is to examine ourselves repeatedly.
Tene ta tinde ke kasala ngala mekhahi ke twa tanyo kandire sena tene chitang ke susola pe control ke pe kangal dong yungdu tene control te yapu mai pa hakko do do de ina yang kapka la control long hyo do tene ti cha simbo zo do ti chipo me pa zo do tene ti ge yapu zo mandu kande gugre se te kapsala tene ngarang ta tel pembe ge dangwan da bo ta tan da kap ndane so agen la kap ndana la ten te ronji yong ta so na yin ge rang ge la ta chi se ne per na hyoge ya lang kapsala ta teringa control malang ba chi che ge ngarang la control ge ne pa char ge yo te yapo me tering control ge on do mahiro wa che yinchi minchi che ge yin samba sigu ge la tene te ge ji so tene tenhi tene rimbe ge 도고마 냐르 kapsala tering hyoki ngavo nga control longme sene kenle tamcha cheba yin te yapo je lonli tar duge yapo je ta tene yapo ta kapsala tene control de malon wa je yapo je control langna ya ti on the mahyorwa yapo je rindo na tene pe gawa gam ta tering pe yapo chondo ngarai kontru ondo mahiro wa yapo rindo sambata wa che ta tene kalte kontru lone ti ondo shorson wa che yena te che sena koyo mare la ngaranso toma mepa ne kombe bacha yo re tenji minji dubo mare de rang la ten ti junsen tan tenda da hako wa sene o nga kontru long ni longwa te yapo chong mendo tanong hadro tam che bare te tanda ningung te drup to yo mare 다디 담자데 야보제 르송요 마레 담자데 야보제 냥슬랭 요 마레 데세드 델 산이니 좀데 다텐데 온도 마히로 와치 세게 삼바 데시 제반다 보제 다텐데시 데니 니마 딱바 텐데 세나 림비게 컨트롤러 짠데히 컨트롤 델라 텐히 동 보에 템베게 탑 야보제 하코니 양네 양도세 데타이제라 컨트롤 온도 마히로와 tene pangto bache onka leka bore de yang de tena kambe ga onger rimbi ge tene jurtu ba yung yo re junsi teacher na kap ndar sauna ten tewe ronji yung ta ronji la ta pa ka so la ngarang ge gewa ya poche dugen duge gewe ko no samji je sonju ke san ya poche duge te si ya cher ta dugen duge mand ta dugen duge tene nyemo ba de jo ke don temu la so ba te chon ta dugen duge kantin du ya po ta gure so yin sa.
Now at this point, often people come to me, many people have come and asked me, they say, They have a difficulty with anger. It's hard. They understand that anger is not good, but they lose control and lose their temper. They understand that it's bad, that it's not good, but what should they do about this? And so the instruction that I give them is the same one that is given here, that says, therefore repeatedly examine yourself. You need to examine yourself. And the way to do this is when you wake up in the morning, then you say to yourself, I'm not going to let myself lose my temper today. I'm not going to get angry, and even if I do, I'm not going to lose it. I'm not going to allow myself to be overcome by anger. I will not let that happen. And then later, throughout the day, you maintain your mindfulness and your awareness. Then that evening, when you go to bed, you think to yourself, okay, this morning I made the commitment, I made the promise that I was not going to get angry. And how did I do? And if you feel like, and then you look at yourself, and if you see that you didn't get that angry that day, or if you got angry that you didn't let it take control of yourself, and you didn't lose your temper, then you should say to yourself, I did really well today. You should rejoice and be happy about this and think, this was great, I didn't get angry today. But if you should be overcome and you do happen to lose your temper, then there's really no fault there, because we're all sentient beings who've had habituation from beginningless samsara and the strong imprints from beginningless samsara. But we need to understand the reasons. We need to think about the reasons for this. We need to look at it carefully. We need to say, that was not good. I made a commitment this morning and I was not able to maintain that commitment. I did not keep my commitment. I did not keep my promise, and that was not good. From now on, I'm going to make sure not to let myself lose my temper. I'm not going to let myself be overwhelmed by my anger. Now, if you do this every day, then gradually this will help you recognize the aspects of faults, of problems within yourself. You will gradually be able to develop your mindfulness, awareness, and carefulness. This is not something that works on just a single time, but if you do it over and over again, then it is a way that you can change yourself. And so here it is said, so therefore repeatedly examine yourself. You look at your own being and you think to yourself, did I lose it? Was I overcome by anger? Or was I able to increase my motivations of love, compassion, and bodhicitta? Was I able to keep control of myself? And so, or do we see you look to see, am I being overcome by the afflictions? And so you need to examine yourself thoroughly.
Tene teacher na ta kapnder di nang da song na tu jondo ronji ndruzi yen sinkin te de chechi ni pa te tan te ronji yon ta sinkin te ni ge tsai de pe dangwa che par chen ta ngarang ge san lan jurwa te pe ge tap che par chen re la tombo ne chu nyam selen be ka so la rong ge je den dul gu ge yo re ba chu te rang ge je dul ge tap re ba so ne tombo hi ne te nyam selen gu ge yo ba rang ge je den dul gu ge yo ba rang ge je de nyem mo on do ma hiro ba je gu ge yo ba rang ge je de tene ge we chu la kol to ba je gu ge yo ba sam ne tene durje yim ba de hi ne te train to ba ta te train to ba la te nyam selen to ba je gu ge yo re la te nyam selen ba to train to ba ge ta la khari re se na ronji yon ta se rang sem ge tan da khari che ge do khandi theng ge do chu ge chu la ya po jur tu gun du ge diba me ge we chu le pang tu gun du ge yon ta gu ge re so ne ta ti ge tsai ni de pe khal chem bo tene le tang bo pa la pe khal chem bo tu jun do tene te theng gu ba che da te hi gu ba che re.
So here we've had two very important instructions. First, they are a challenge to tame your being continually, and secondly, then the last line of the stanza, therefore repeatedly examine yourself. These are really important, really wonderful instructions. And so first, we need to tame our own minds. In order to practice the Dharma, we need to tame the minds. We need to know this, and then we need to practice this. we need to try to tame our beings so that we are not overcome by the afflictions. We need to tame our beings so that we are able to inspire them towards the direction of virtue. And so we need to remember that we need to tame our minds. And the method of taming our minds is that we remember this, and that we remember this. We need a way in order that we are able to bring ourselves to practice the Dharma that will benefit us. But how is it that we will do it? It is by, as said here, therefore repeatedly examine yourself. And so you need to continually look over and over what is happening in your mind. Are you able to bring the Dharma to be truly Dharma? Are you able to eliminate the misdeeds and the afflictions and misdeeds and non-virtues? And so these two lines are extremely important instructions. They're especially important instructions for beginners. We need to continually look at our minds and try to continually apply these instructions and understand them.
Tene ta te ji so jin den ki kulwa na pala ma dongwa yong ten se. Tene yang kap ka la tene te jin den de be yen tin se du san la yi do wong ge ngu po tang jin tong ne de la cha yin je wa yin na yang ra. De ma to pa la ten ne he don la so ba ta control la so ba je wa yin na yang ra. Tene ta te yin de yin la ye ba tong ne chodo la so ba je na yung ra ta nye mo ba je we ka so la kare gu gre se na jin de yan ki ko ne ngarang ge sem de ge we chu la kol ma to ba ta ngarang ge sem de me ge we chu la on de shon ro an ra bo chong na kare gu gre se na pa la ma dong ngo yung ten se la ma dong ngo de ten gu gre la me sum be ge dong ngo de ten gu gre tene ta te la me sum be ge dong ngo de chitang ge lama chepar chi chi yo na yung ra lama te tsam chepar chi ma yin pa ta chuman ra bo che yin na yung ra te tene lama te be yin da man ra wa chi re lama sinkin te yin da man ra wa chi re kari re se na tene chitang ge nga rang su cham chun ten pe ka su la 소주 두섬제 대기기 바탐지 제 고송도 인터넷에 ngor jorba 추지 본보 동tra 제주자 인주네 propaganda 통지 제 어다 텐데 성요아래라 드니 소주 두섬제 대기기 바탐지 제 고송도 인터넷 틀레 통지 제도 두비 ngor 생게데 오 ngalama테다 다다가시 메주마지레 마도 텐데 소주 두섬제 대기기 바탐지 제 고송도 인터넷 통지 제도 두비 ngor 자 혼지마레 가와 용거래 선바다보 용거래 때 이나야 때 라면군에 많이 봐 동어 근군이 바래라 동어 때 네 간이 투고 그래서나 랑글라말레 투고 요아래 랑글라말레 투고 라메 숨베가 동어 자침보제 있나요다 자춘춘제 있나요다 대 산제동 송주 선바 탐지 제도 두빙오 네 산제동 송주 선바 탐지 전 투도 제도 두비가 동어 te rang la tsal yuare la te rang ge nyamlin thup na ti nupa te yung ge yuare rang ge nyamlin ma thup na ti nupa te yung ge yuwa ma re lama che par chen yin na yanda lama che par chen ma yin na yanda te lama te ge chu ge kulma la chu la kulma che da chu ge chu ge sawa che dru ge re la ti drupa te ja chenpo che yin na yanda ja chun chun che yin na yanda te tini san che tong song chu sen pa tam che jen thuto che du du bi ngo tini te ge san che tong song chu sen pa tam che pe yu na yu kare nangare se na chu la kulma che nangare ma to tini yin tini rowe donga cha ki me se la ni che to pa yin lam po men te suwa re la tini rowe donga cha ki me se na san che ge cha ke dunga tin lin ro ya yo re se na yo ma re tene ni je to pa yin lam po men te sun te tel khorong ge nyom to pa yin tin kari ya pa te ngaran sul nang ya yo re se na yo ma re ona kare sung re se na chu ni hewa tembe trowan jo se tombe chu ji song ni ni te te ni te ngarang ge kase tu tu ji nyong sul lo na te nyong sul lo ba la te nen te ba te to ge yo re la teacher na tanda tene lama dongwa yong ten ta lama tiki kare cheke do lama tiki chu kare song song te ngarang ke longling khande tar tu ke do te ngarang ke longling tar ma tu pa chong na te la tempa tong hi kin tong po ye pa tene zaza che Tene te nyamni ta chi tupa dabo chi chona tel gawa gom jisu yirungwa gom ne tene nyamni chi na tene nyamni chi tupa yunga yuwa rela junsi teacher na patlama dangwa yung ten.
Then it reads, when the circumstances of a sense pleasure goads you. And so remember your Father Guru's instructions again and again. So sometimes there's a circumstance, the sense pleasure. So when we see something attractive with a sensory pleasure, then sometimes we feel attachment and fixation on it. Sometimes when we're unable to get it, we get angry. Sometimes we see someone else has it, and we get envious of it. And so the afflictions arise. And when that happens, we are unable to tame our minds, and our minds fall under the control of the unvirtuous. And so what we need to do at that point is remember your Father Guru's instructions again and again. So we need to remember the instructions that our Guru has given us. Now, there are many different gurus who give us the instructions. There are high lamas who give us instructions. There are ordinary lamas who give us instructions. There are lamas who are different from anyone else. But actually, with all of them, it is the same as it is said when we recite the refuge prayer. We and all sentient beings throughout space go for refuge to the great and glorious gurus, who are the combined essence of the minds of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We go for refuge to the gurus who are the embodiment of the Dharma, who are the embodiment of the Sangha. And so when we say this, that the Buddhas are that the gurus are the embodiment of the wisdom of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, of the 10 directions and the 3 times, then we are not saying this in terms of the Lama from the Lama's perspective. We are saying it in terms of the Dharma that the Lama can teach us. It is because we need to be able to. It is when we practice the Dharma, it is the instructions that the Lama can give us that are the most important. And so what are the instructions that they give? These are the same instructions that the Guru gives, the same instructions that the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas would give. And so in this way, the Buddha is the embodiment of the wisdom, or the unification of the wisdom of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And if we practice the instructions that we have, that they give us, then we will be able to achieve the power of those instructions. If we do not practice, then we will not be able to achieve those powers. And so in this way, there is no distinction about the Lama. There's no difference about whether the Lama is a high Lama or an ordinary Lama. They give you these instructions that the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions and 3 times would give you. If the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions and 3 times, what would they do for you? They would teach you the Dharma, and you would have to practice the Dharma and achieve realization on your own. It is as has been said, the Buddha cannot remove your obscurations with his hands. The Buddha cannot bestow upon you his own realization. And so it is not like the Buddha can take away your misdeeds and obscurations with his hands. It is not as if the Buddha is able to transfer his own realization to you. Instead, it is by teaching you the peace, the dharmata, that the Buddha is able to bring you benefit. So you listen to the instructions. After you've listened, then you practice the instructions, and then by doing that, you will be able to receive the power of the instructions. And so, in this way, we need to remember your Father Guru's instructions again and again. They teach us the Dharma that we need to practice. And then if we are able to put those instructions into practice, we will reap the benefits. If we are not able to practice them, to put them into practice, then if we maintain our mindfulness and awareness and carefulness, then at some point, we will be able to practice them. We will be able to receive the benefit of the instructions. And so for this reason, we need to remember your Father Guru's instructions again and again.
Tene kondo ten tewe ronji yon ta se rang ji la ta chi se pe kap so tene chin den ga kur ne chwa yin da bo chi na la ma da ngwa ten ko re te yin do tene ngan tu ba ji pe nyang len te non ron de ji yo ju yin la ngam tu yin je yin de gong la char se ta chi tang ga ta chi se pe kap so la ngaran su su si ji wo tamal ba la kare yo re se na rang san la yo jun da bo yung yo re la kap ka la yo ju te ko la be tene yin la ma tin ba che ngarang san la yo tene me la yo ju che ta tin de se ge yo re la tene te ta che che tene yin la yin tin ye pa ta chen thong na tene te yin la lam de me pan da bo te se tho do da bo che ge yin tin te be yin ge yin tin tin thong na yin tin te be rang la yin tin me na yo yin do te ne tene te yo ju che ta tin de yung ge yo re la te la tene lam nyam ling kan de nang gu ge yo re se na tene ngu ni sang ji thu ji pi ge nyam ling ji che gu ge re sang ji thu ji pi nyam ling ka re nang gu ge yo re se na non rong de ji yo ju yin la nga rong ge yo ju che pa te sang de pa ma yin pa be de pa ma yin pa yin la ten gu ge yo re per na tanda ngama ta chuo ji pa ni ate kya ga loma che par chen tini ka dam pe ge hi ni mombo che chen par la ten ju ge tini rong ji ya po ndul ta ten de na re khandi sin dul wa re se na ge hi ka dam pe ge hi ni che ge khong ga tu gon la ta teri me mombo che le yung ge yo re ngarang ge che pa ten ju ya po hyam 짱마 씨 딘디 씨 구근도 다 메가 구쿠르 쇼그레 손네 딘디 그 투라 또바제 제테 지 짱마 씨 야부 세 차도 될 콩가 랑 생지 라 제다용 가서로 오 데메야 년도 제야 당랑 춘지 티 추지 그 로지 질라 제바레 티 야부리 만도와 손네 tene rang senji la to du te la ngarang sen la yo ju chi do ta de yin lo ya ga dan re so ne tene thala para ko kro ne tin che pa ten zol pa tor tene zo pa zo yo pa lo ju ten de yo re la te ta bo tene rang sen la yo ju ye pa thon na zai na tene ti yo ju de yin la ting dang yin den de se ge do de ma u pa se ge do de ten ge do de ya po se ge man du so ne yin la ting go re.
And so, as it says, you therefore repeatedly examine yourself. And so, we need to tame our own beings. And so, when there's a sense pleasure that goads us, we need to remember the Guru's instructions again and again. Then it continues, the practice that pleases the sages and guardians is to boast to others of your inner selfish deceit and raise to the sky the qualities of others, your friends. So what often happens is that we are, as ordinary, regular sentient beings, when we look at our minds, we actually have a bit of deceit in our minds. If we see something not so good in our minds, we try to secrete it, we keep it, we hide it away from others, we don't let anyone see it. Then when we see other people's qualities, we don't want other people to see them, so we try to cover them up and not let other people see anyone else's qualities. And then even if we don't have any qualities, we pretend that we do have big qualities and broadcast those. But actually, this is not really the practice that pleases the sages, the Buddhas, and the guardians. So how can we do practice that will please the sages and the guardians? Well, it is to boast to others of your inner selfish deceit. And so when we, it is not to secrete our own problems, or not to hide them and keep them away from others, but rather to display them, to show them to others. There was a student of the great master Atisha. Atisha had many students, many great masters of the Kadampa tradition who were all excellent meditators and who all tamed their beings thoroughly. There was one of them who one day had some sponsors who were coming over for something. And so he set up his shrine, he arranged all the offerings perfectly, he put out everything just right, he cleaned up, he made it all perfect. And he thought to himself, if I do this, they're going to come and they're going to say, oh, what a wonderful geshe he is, and they're all going to like me, it'll be wonderful. And so he cleaned it and made it perfect, and then he thought to himself, wait a minute, my motivation is not good at all. This is a motivation. I want to gain renown and fame for myself. I want to get offerings for myself. This is a bad motivation. So he took a fistful of ash and he threw it all over the offerings and dirtied the entire shrine. And this is the way it is. When we see deceit within ourselves, our first reaction is that we should hide it and we should cover it up. But actually, that is not what we should do. We need to say to others, I have this fault. I am deceitful. This is the way. I am trying to deceive everyone. And you need to show this to other people.
Tene tru yenji yenten gongla shar sinkinte chitang ta che kapkala mela thodu ndabo yung sigre la thodu ndabo yung na tene tepa che jena yo tropo yenda ga yenten yena yenten ti jende me pa ndabo yung che ta tinde yung gre la te ta ba main pa tru yenji yenten gongla shar ta te pe yapore sene tene te thodu ge ji sundwa main pa Demba Tangpo Hi Gugi Yore, Candide Sena, Jasi Hiwa Laga Sauna, Tene, Kuna Yentin Jesa, Yentin Jena Jis Jes, Tene, Me Yenji Yentin de Hi Gugre, Me Yendog Yentin de Kani Hi Gugre Sena, Musu Montong Zalan Tieba Maimba, Kuna Korang Mugo, Muni, Tendeg Kapla, Tene Yentin de Jetne, Yentin de Drog Gugi Yore, Tarang Samba Zambu, Gone Yentin de Drog Gugi Yore. Tinitig Yentin de Drop Casola, Yentin Jena Jis Jes, me Yenda de Be Yapo Yore Sena, O Tagaran Yapo Yore Sene, Lava Mato, O Te Yaporan, your Marita, second of Maiva. The Cherang Lava Nagi Marite, City Yore, second of Maiva. Tenete Demba Tagaran, Yentin Yapo Yore, and Yentin Jena Jis Jesse, Teniranga Caregu Pat Lago Yore. Rang Yentin Jena, the Yentin Hipa Rippers are some Yorella. Yant me Yenda Cherampe Yaponosin, or Nga Yapo inside son, Najalti or Maimpa, Tenete Caregu Yore Sena, Tene or Koran, Nga Yentin Jinton Korampe, Tonojin, Yapore, Me Yapo, Somba Zombore Mato, Nalatindig Yentin Yomare, Sambandabot, Tajila Chitapa Gugre, Tendison Yorella, Junsin Tetabu, True Yenji Yentin Gona Charsi, Tenji Minji Guga Yore, Tini Rank Yentin, Yojutin Double Sena, Hilan Guga Yore, Tini Gantupa GP Yomni, Sanji Jomdin, the 2 GP Yomni, the Rank Nyamo Bandolu, Taptin de so.
Then it says, and raise to the skies the qualities of others, your friends. And so generally when we see other people having, that other peoples have qualities, then generally we don't really want other people to know. It's like, don't let them know about their qualities in this way. That's not the way it should be. Actually, we should say, yes, that is really good. That's wonderful that they're like that. Don't follow after your thoughts of envy. When you see qualities, be forthright and truthful about them. It's like it says Shantideva says, when others have qualities, speak of them in a hidden way. When others have qualities, speak of them in a hidden way. And so when you see that people have qualities, then you need to tell other people that this other person has a qualities, but you don't go out in front of the other person. Instead, you do it behind their back. And you tell other people about the qualities, that person's qualities behind their back, so that in just a way to let people know that that person is a good person, that they have these qualities. And you do this from a motivation of kindness and a good heart. And when you hear people talking about other people's qualities, and they declare other people's qualities, then you should also, as Shantideva says, when you hear people talk of qualities, then you should also repeat that. And so generally when we hear people talking about qualities, you should say, that's exactly how it is. It's just like that. Usually we don't say that. We say, the person says, someone says they have qualities, and what we say is, well, not really. It's not really like that. He has these problems too. These qualities aren't so good. That's not what we should do. So don't let yourself say, "Oh, not really." When other people say, talk about their qualities. Instead, you should say, "Yes, that's right. They do have these qualities." So repeat the qualities that others praise. And then when people praise you, you should see that their praising you is a quality of your own. It's not usually what happens when people praise us. We say, yes, that's true. I'm great. I'm perfect. But actually, we should not be like that. We should recognize that when other people see us as having qualities, it's more a reflection of the qualities that they themselves actually have. And so it's a sign that they have a good heart. We ourselves do not have these qualities. Instead, it is that they have a good heart. And so in this way, we should raise to the sky the qualities of others, your friends. We should praise others for their qualities. And instead of thinking about our qualities, we should boast to others of our inner selfish deceit. We should let people know of our own flaws and faults. And to do this is the practice that pleases the sages and the guardians. So that is enough for our session this evening. Now please dedicate the virtue from this to the benefit of all sentient beings.